Alright guys, well, I think it's time to make it official. The new series of tabletop miniature sirens are now available. I'll go ahead and give you a peek at what we have available now. These did take quite a bit of time to make, some of them a bit simpler than others, and a lot was going on in the background that caused such a long delay on the inevitable arrival of these sirens. But I wanted to go through a couple of the changes, some of the things that have been improved, some of the things that I think add to the detail, and let you guys get an idea of what you're getting into. We'll take a look at the Model L and the differences that come with that, based off of the Model D, the older series of siren that was introduced last year. And here we have some of the first differences that I want to point out. So, with these sirens, with all of the new models, they will be shipped with new MSLA printed rotors. These rotors, the big difference being between the older style, is that they are able to capture a lot better detail than that of the older style rotors, in that the older style rotors were typically a lot dirtier, they didn't look nearly as good, and they still sounded the same, but it was just one of those things that caused a bit of difficulties in terms of cleaning up and getting the sirens ready and processed. So, the new rotors are MSLA printed. You can see that they come hot off the printer looking much cleaner than their FDM counterparts. And that definitely is one improvement. And that goes for all of the sirens. So here I have a 7T. Looking up in there. This is the 7T's rotor that is FDM printed. You see many of the mistakes that have occurred because of this printer, which is just basically a side effect of the way that this printer functions. You can see it leads a lot of artifacts and a lot of things that have to end up being cleaned. And here we have the FDM printed rotor. As you can see, it looks a lot better than that of the MSLA printer. And they are somewhat heavier than their FDM counterparts, which allow them to have a slightly longer wind down. Not nearly as long as the full-sized ones, of course, but somewhat better. And then we also have the Model 7. So this is the single tone, this is the 12-port variant. And there's its rotor, which its rotor looks warped. I think it's just because it's hot out here right now. Actually, no, I think this is actually somewhat of a failed print. But that is what that rotor looks like. And I don't actually have a FDM counterpart to show you, but that's what that rotor looks like inside. So we'll go ahead and open them up and show you some of the interesting things about them. So, to start off, we have the Model 7. We'll go ahead and show something that is also being added to all my sirens. There is a data tag. And that data tag is accurate. That is it's volts DC, model M7. And this is the older Federal Sun and Signal tag. So we can go ahead and pop this top off. You can see exactly what's going on. It has its mounting arm, and it has the rotor and stator in there. If you haven't heard it before, I'll go ahead and sound it off just now. And of course, as with all of my model sirens, they are all USB powered. So they plug into a regular USB port or a power bank. So we'll go ahead and fumble around a little bit and get this plugged in. And there we go. And there is the 12-port Model 7. Moving on, I have the Model 7T, which will have to be a bit of a special request thing. This is essentially going to be the exact same as the Model 7, with the only difference being that it's got a different rotor. And the other major difference being that it does come with this little piece of plastic, which I will include with both variants of this siren. So if in case someone wants to go ahead and add this little piece of plastic to the side to make it look like the actual motor access door, they can. Nothing really that crazy. So I'll go ahead and set this off as well. This, of course, is 912. So we will set this one off. This is not going to come with that little base it's sitting on. It's just on that little base because there's actually a mounting stud, which is for mounting to the Los Angeles pole, if you've seen my previous videos. Alright, I'll take the top off. And now this one is technically set up to be a 5T with, I guess you can consider a different housing, because a 5T would not have that little service door. But it is a 5T because it does have an intake tube. My light is kind of failing me here. There we go. And, of course, one of the more popularly requested sirens, the miniature Model L. Which, of course, as with all the sirens coming out now, it does have its own little data tag on the side, which this camera probably doesn't want to focus on too well. But it's there. It is very faint, but it is there. And we'll go ahead and set this one off, so you can get a feel for how loud it is. And there is the miniature Model L with a base that allows the siren to rotate and swivel, and also includes the two base mounting holes so that it can be mounted if someone so desires. All of the sirens come with a 10-foot power cord, a USB power cord, with a braided cable, as it stands up to abrasion a lot better. All sirens will come packed in a small cardboard box with an included little federal thing. A little federal medallion. Use it as a coaster. You can poke a hole through it, make it an ornament. Really, whatever you want to do with it. And it is thin enough that it is somewhat transparent. This one doesn't look too good, but you can actually get light through it. And then the siren will be sitting inside the boxes just like that. So, in terms of pricing, the Model T, the 5T, or 7T will retail for about $45. The Model L, however, is jumping up a bit in price as they are really tedious and finicky to assemble, which is unfortunate, but I'm working on making it a bit easier. And these will retail for about $65. And yes, I know, you're getting what seems like a lot less siren, but these are also, so far, the louder ones that I've actually made, even louder than the full-size 7T or 5T. But again, all of my sirens are intended for entertainment and to really just play around with. They're for siren enthusiasts to enjoy. They aren't necessarily made for providing any actual warning signal for anything, unless you want to set it up for an alarm clock, whatever you really want to do with it. And for the Model 7 12-port variant, it'll be the same price. It'll be $45. So, those are all the sirens. Those are all the models that I'm going to be having out now for this version. And of course, as I scale up production, more models will come. More models will follow. So, as you've seen in my previous video, I do have the 500 SHTT that is being worked on. However, I do need to work out some of the kinks and make it a bit easier to produce so that I can actually make them at scale so that everyone can kind of get their hands on them. However, the poles that they mount to will be available. Those will be sold for about $30, and that will come with everything in the kit. So it'll come with every single piece for the pole, it'll come with a little tube of glue, and it will also come with all of the foot pegs, the basket, the cage, everything necessary to make a Los Angeles model if someone so pleases. So, I hope you guys enjoy. It's taken a lot longer than I really expected to get them out, but it's been a lot to deal with having to balance having a pretty good paying career now and then also trying to keep the hobby alive. But I do appreciate any of your support. I do appreciate the comments. I love seeing your guys' comments, and I hope you enjoy the models if you choose to pick one up. I also almost forgot to mention, a link to my Etsy store will be in the video description down below, so you can have an easy hyperlink to get there. You can see the store and purchase something for yourself. I might even bring back the Model A and the Model Ds, because really if I can make the Model Ls, I can just make the Model Ds. So, bye guys, I hope you enjoyed.